A 2019 study published in The Lancet estimated that poor diet is a leading risk factor for death globally, contributing to approximately 11 million deaths annually, or about 22% of all adult deaths worldwide. Do you want to comment on that?
I just think it's horrible when I think it's horrible, and I think it's so unnecessary when nature and God basically provided us with everything we need, but then mankind decided to yeah, to mess it all up, and I think it's of course to our own detriment, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah. So you obviously are big on health and nutrition and well-being. Can you tell us about that turnaround moment that you had that made you take your health and well-being seriously?
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. My story didn't at all start with health. It started with hating what I looked like. It started hating the reflection that I saw in the mirror. And that made me fall into the whole sphere that I see so many people go into, all the restrictive diets, um, basically nutritionally castrating yourself as a man with all the restrictive diets. And that is what eventually led me to not only having mental issues, but also health issues. So it started out as a superficial pursuit, but then later down the line, I realized that in order for me to look good and also feel good at the same time without losing my mind or the quality of life, I think that was really the turning point that made me realize that you can look good and not feel good, but you can also look good and feel good at the same time.
What made you wake up in that moment to realize it was a superficial pursuit?
I think it was always a superficial pursuit for me. There are a lot of guys that say that you shouldn't work out to look good, like you shouldn't only pursue looking good. But I think it's inherent to everyone that you want to look as good as possible. So I think that wasn't really a wake up call, so to say, because I was always looking for that external motivation as well, even if that's shallow. I think, yeah, that part was always there, but then it gravitated towards the health later on. Yeah.
But what made you wake up? Like, were you reaching a low point, or were you like, you said you were struggling with your image, but like so many people, I feel like, just ruminate in that bad emotion and that lifestyle. They don't change their beliefs and they don't become aware of themselves and they just become this victim of their own selves. So
Mm.
like, so for those people who like struggle to like switch, like what's that switch in the brain that you had that like, how was that, like how did that happen?
Yeah, so now I think we're opening up a whole other can of worms. I think the only place a man will change is rock bottom. Uh,
Yeah.
and I think rock bottom looks different for everyone. And if you're not willing to change, I think that's because you're not hitting rock bottom yet. You will eventually, I think. I think all people eventually hit rock bottom. But the thing is that it's almost like altitude sickness. You have to kind of like the quicker you go up or the quicker you go down to rock bottom in this case, the quicker you're going to want to change. Um, and for me, there was just a point where I saw myself in the mirror and I realized that I don't want to live life this way. Like enough is enough, and that's the only place where you will really change. It's like they say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Yeah.
Um, So yeah, I think the switch it just comes slower or faster for different people.
Yeah.
But rock bottom is definitely a magical place for transformation.
Yeah, a little catalyst.
Yeah, yeah, a very strong one. Yeah.
Talk to me about consistency and discipline and how you approach doing the things that you know you have to do while not wanting to do them.
Yeah, this is also a very, very, very interesting topic. I think so. I've changed my mind on discipline a lot lately, and I think at one level, I believe every human being is doing the thing that they want to do at some point. Like we're always choosing what we want to do. whether that's beneficial to our goals or not. But I think the matter of discipline, it's discipline is usually often just needed whenever you're doing something that isn't aligned with your self-identity. So I think once you start to rewire, or you get very clear on where you want to go and when you pick your goals consciously, like who do I want to be, what do I want to do, where do I want to live, etc. When you have that as a crystal clear goal or vision in your mind, and you embrace that identity, you don't need discipline, because everything is just like the path just becomes clear. So you have to change how you see yourself and the man that you want to be, and you already have to be the man that has the thing that you want before you can get it.
So how do you crystallize that imagination? Well, obviously you answer those questions consciously, you're saying, and then you visualize. Do you visualize? Do you meditate? Like how do you clarify that goal in your mind?
That's a very good question. Um, I don't visualize the same way most people do, I think. Most people have a very concrete, like a tangible future that they want to see, whether that's a house or your body has to look exactly this way, or you have to drive this exact car. And I used to see my future that way as well, envision my future that way. But ever since maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I started changing how I visualized my future, and I started seeing it in emotions instead of a material reality. And so when you know in your heart what you want to feel like, you want to wake up, you want to be energized, you want to be passionate, you want to be driven, then it's so much easier, because you can just follow that intuition. You can just follow the compass that isn't your mind, but the compass that is your heart. And when you follow your heart, everything that falls aligned with that feeling that you want to have on a daily basis, the choices are so much easier.
Yeah.
How does this make me feel? How does living here make me feel? Or eating this way, or staying up late, or waking up early. So I think for me, I envision my future emotionally rather than materialistically.
Do you journal?
I do. I've been journaling back and forth. I used to do it daily for many, many years, but now it's just whenever I get the feel. Yeah.
Do you have another outlet, or do you have like a support group, or like do you talk with your friends, or like do you have a different way of processing emotions than just journaling?
Yeah, I think that's a good one. I'm actually into music, so I do a little bit of writing and singing mainly, and I play the piano as well.
Nice.
Yeah, so
That
I do a
probably
lot.
helps a lot.
Yeah, I do a
Yeah.
bit of singing. It's like clearing your mind.
Yeah. I
But that,
remember playing guitar when I was younger. I'm sad that I dropped it or like stopped playing, but I remember being angry, being a young kid, being angry, just picking up the guitar and everything would just wash away.
yeah, yeah, and I think how you process emotions, it's not so much about how you do it, but rather the state of mind that you get into. Like when you get into that state of flow, the present state of just being, I think that's the highest form of enlightenment, or the highest form of purifying your mind or clearing out the garbage. Yeah.
Clearing out the garbage.
Yeah.
Did you grow up around people who have a growth mindset, like optimistic people?
No. No. Never, never, never. I had to
Yeah.
brainwash myself into optimism.
Reverse brainwash.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That that's tough.
Mm.
Talk to me about beliefs and how impactful they are. Because you said that you struggled with, like, seeing yourself in the mirror, and there were things that you were telling yourself that obviously weren't true. So how important is it to like shift your beliefs and become aware of them?
I think beliefs are very, very important. I think life doesn't only happen for you, but also through you. So at the end of the day, what you think about is gonna be what you register in your reality. If you focus on the negative things, then you're only gonna see the negative things. And I think how to create that belief for yourself, I made I don't know if you read this one, but I read somewhere in a book or whatever, I heard on a YouTube video, and they said you think 60,000 thoughts on a daily basis, and then the next day you have 90% of the same thoughts. And I realized pretty quickly that if I keep thinking the way that I'm thinking right now, I'm going to be in a very, very deep hole, a
Yeah.
hole much deeper than I know how to get out of. And at that point, I just told myself, I promised myself to believe in the vision, or trust the vision rather than believing in it. And then eventually it just becomes your reality. You kind of have to believe it, even if you don't believe it, you know? You have to
Yeah.
trust before you believe. And
Have
then you'll,
faith. Have faith.
yeah, exactly.
Can you talk a little bit about when you found peace through meditation and healing, but you still felt off and not like you wanted to feel? I saw an X post that you had shared that I don't see right now. Yeah, here it is. Too much healing softens a man. Too little healing burns him out. For years, I swung between the two. After trauma and burnout, I went into deep healing, meditation, spiritually, surrender. I found peace, but I also lost my edge. Do you remember it?
Yep.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I went through a pretty traumatic experience when I was 19 years old. One of my best friends died in an accident on a journey that I made him go on. And of course, that instilled a lot of guilt and shame in me, not only because I felt like I wasn't living my life, but I was also feeling guilty for what happened to him. So I tried every single trick in the book to get my mind out of that state. And I remember the only thing that I craved was just being alone in a mountain, or on a mountain in a cave by myself, not to be disturbed by reality. And I kind of detached, and I got this nihilistic mindset, like nothing matters, nothing is important, it doesn't matter, you don't have to do anything, you don't have to strive. Ambition is just for people that are not that didn't wake up yet. But eventually, you have that masculine drive that wants to create and conquer, and that eventually caught up to me because I realized that resigning from all the problems that I had wasn't the solution to them.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's rough.
Yeah.
In June, you posted on X, your depression might just be undernourishment. Sunlight, meat, eggs, fruit, weights, sleep. Don't expect to function without fuel. So now we're going to touch a little bit on nutrition. Why is
Yep.
that? Why does that seem like so many people just whiff? Me being one of them, like I'll go in and out of it. I'll be like, okay, yeah, let's go now. Let's make meals. Let's find good recipes. Let's cook every day, and then fucking a month later, I'm running like I've never done before. But then things happen. I travel, whatever. I fall off it. Like things happen. So I guess my question is, what's easier? Go to the gym regularly or eat well every day?
Ooh, that's a hard one. Which is harder, to go to the gym consistently or eat well on a daily basis?
So what's easier? Which one of them are easier?
I think going to the gym is easier initially, because you only have to go for 45 minutes to an hour, 30 minutes to an hour, 3 times a week to make great
Yeah.
progress, at least
Yeah.
in the gym.
Yeah.
But of course, when it comes to nutrition and dieting, you're going to eat 2 to 3 to 4 meals a day. So it's going to be way more frequent, and it's not like you can't not eat. So whenever you have to eat, you have to make a better decision. But I think that's just a matter of falling in love with how food makes you feel, and eventually you will fall in love with the taste of the food itself.
That's a big point. I think that's huge for so many people. It is for me.
Yeah.
It is for me. How do you find great recipes?
Bro, I don't do recipes. I don't do recipes. I don't believe in recipes. I just take the fundamentals. I just do eggs, ground beef, steak, butter, salt, pepper.
Easy.
Yeah, just easy. Chop up a couple of fresh fruits or some vegetables in the oven with some olive oil. Like I don't do recipes. I do single ingredient foods, and I just chuck them all together, and then
I love
I
that. I
yeah. And the
love
thing,
that.
so the thing is, like people believe that you have to have these complex recipes with a ton of ingredients. But the reality is that the healthier the food is that you eat, the less ingredients you're gonna need. And you're also going to fall in love with the simplicity and the taste of all the single ingredient foods. And especially when you cut out the bad stuff. Because if your palate is hijacked by processed food, of course, a donut is going to taste better than ground beef with butter. Like, of course. But if you're hungry enough and you didn't eat the processed food for at least like a couple of weeks, and you were hungry when you sit down to eat, I bet you had this feeling sometime in your life. You just order a steak, you get it in, and you take the first bite, and you're just like, oh man, this hit the spot. And I think that that's how every meal is supposed to be. And I think it will be if you only eat real food whenever you're truly hungry and not when you're bored.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
There's some gold in here. Why do you think red meat is being demonized?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Yeah,
it's
that's
it's
a great
so
answer.
it's so easy to say like the big elites, they don't want us to be big and strong and healthy and independent. There are some old studies saying X, Y, and Z, but the only thing I think we should all try is just don't listen too much to what people say or read too much about the details. Just be hungry and sit down and eat. And if you feel good after you have eaten, and if you look better, then that's a very strong indicator of that this food is good for you.
Yeah,
And I'm not talking good in the sense that your dopamine spikes super high. But of course, it will if you're hungry enough and you eat a steak. But you know what I mean.
yeah.
Yeah.
What are some good examples of quality carbs?
Anything that is single ingredient. It's really that boring. I wish.
Fruit, veggies. No,
Yeah,
veggies aren't carbs, but like rice.
yeah. So what I would say is, I would say, of course, number one is gonna be just single ingredient foods always, and whether that's potatoes or that's rice. I don't do that much rice and potatoes, especially in the summer. I do more fruit in the summer. I try to eat as local and seasonally as possible because I think that's the way we're supposed to eat, and that's how we thrive as human beings. And that's also very intuitive and natural. So I believe just trying to eat as local and seasonal as possible. And if you can't do that, of course, then you can have a mango in December if you're living in a cold country. Like I don't think it's optimal, but it's not going to kill you. So just real food, single ingredient, then you're set.
Yeah, I love how you're simplifying it. For me, until I knew it could be done simply, but I really hadn't lived or seen or heard about an example. So I appreciate that you shared that. Do you have a guilty pleasure?
A guilty pleasure. Yeah, I do. I have a bad habit. Yeah,
You
I
don't have
have
to
to
share
think.
it if you don't want to.
I can share it. I don't know
Okay.
if I'll get hate for this one. Uh, it's not so much because I like the taste, but it's so nostalgic because when I grew up, I used to be a gamer. And we used to drink the blue monster, the zero one, the zero
Yeah,
sugar. And
yeah.
if you give me an ice cold blue monster, zero sugar, like I'm not a big fan of artificial sweeteners, but if you give me that one, I'll take it.
I love it. That's great.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah. What did you play?
Ooh, I played a lot of games. It started out with I played Tibia back in the early 2000s, and then I
Yeah.
also played a lot of World of Warcraft.
Ooh, that's a heavy
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
I
I
played.
spent too many days online on that game for sure.
Yeah, I remember seeing the first time I knew that I could see how many hours I had played RuneScape.
Mm.
Poof.
Yeah, that's a wake up call.
It's a wake-up call indeed. How do you approach failure? Do you believe in failure?
No, I don't believe in failure, but I believe in things. not going the way that you want them to go.
How do
But
you approach it?
whenever once again, I just have faith. And I got a new favorite quote like a couple of weeks ago. I'm big on quotes. And it said that God had to ruin your plans in order to protect your purpose. And I think that's how I look at it. Like the things that are meant for me and the thing that I'm supposed to do, eventually it'll come my way if I just keep on putting my best foot forward. So I don't focus too much on when things doesn't go my way. Yeah, that's basically how I would approach failure, really.
I'm still trying to grasp it. God had to ruin your plans to protect your purpose.
Yeah.
So in a way, you had planned incorrectly, you tried something, you failed, so that you could learn and then continue putting the right foot forward.
Yeah.
So you believe in God?
You can call it God, you can call it the universe, you can call it the Force if you're into Star Wars. I don't really mind. I just believe, you can call it intuition, whatever.
Spidey
Nature.
senses?
Yeah, you can call it spidey senses. That's a great way to look at it. But yeah, for sure, I believe in that there's something innate to all of us that guides us home eventually.
It's quantum physics.
Mm.
I believe in that too. What books did you read to give you an understanding of what God is for you?
There is one book that is very heavy. It's called The Art of Not Knowing. It's
Who wrote that?
Peter Ralston. I might be wrong, but I think it's Peter Ralston.
Peter Ralston. Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna
Yeah,
read that.
yeah,
I'll find it. Okay, cool.
yeah. So basically, a lot of books, but then of course, when you have the first-hand experiences, I don't know how much I can say on this episode, but I've been dabbling with a couple of substances that expanded my mind, if we
You
put
can
it that
say
way.
whatever you want. There's no
Yeah,
filters here. And you
yeah,
probably have dabbled on the same things that expand your mind as I have, so don't worry about it.
yeah. Yes, I've done a couple of heavier mushroom trips, which really expanded my mind,
Was
for
it
sure.
were they uncomfortable or did you sail through it?
I sailed through it, but the water, it was very stormy.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I haven't dared to do it that big of a dose. I feel like I want to, but it's scary.
Yeah, it is.
Have you done anything like ayahuasca or something? No. Are you
No,
interested?
I'm interested, but it also ties back to the tweet that we were talking about the earlier in this episode. Too much healing softens a man
Yeah.
too much, and I don't think I would want to lose the 2 feet that I have planted on the planet Earth. You know, I don't want
Yeah, I
to
see what
launch
you're
into the
saying.
I don't want to launch into the stratosphere and never come back. So
Yeah.
I I like to keep it where it is. Like I've had enough experiences to trust and realize that I don't need to figure out everything that is right here.
I like that. Not knowing, being okay and accepting that you don't know everything.
Yeah, and there's no reason to know everything. It's just your mind trying to survive and find a safety net some way.
I love that. Have you found your purpose? Your calling in life?
I think purpose always evolve. I think it's I don't know if you've read the book The Way of the Superior Man, but by David Data. But
No.
he talks about purpose like an onion. Like right now, this is the layer of the onion that I had to peel. And this once again ties back to what we were talking about earlier, that you just have to do and follow whatever path your heart is telling you is true right now. So today and tomorrow, this might be your purpose, but then next week, next year, next decade,
It might
you're
change.
yeah, it will change eventually. When you burn through the karma of whatever you're doing right now, the next thing will just appear.
How do you see karma?
Do you mean in a Buddhist way?
Maybe the way that I learned, again in a book that I read, I don't remember exactly which one. I thought karma was the conventional definition. It was like do good, good things happen to you. But
Mm,
it didn't really resonate until I did believe it, but it didn't feel right because the world and the universe didn't work that way. Like you're not just
mm,
gonna feed the homeless and somebody's gonna come knocking on your door with a bag full of groceries, right? It's
mm,
not that. It's not how it works.
mm,
So I didn't really believe the conventional definition of it. And when I read this book, it made more sense. So good karma means taking care of the moment in each moment. Like, what is this moment requiring of me? And how well am I fulfilling that requirement?
mm,
And then not stressing, like not being afraid. Again, these things are easy to just voice, but again, in practice, they're harder, obviously. But it's more about gratitude. It's about accepting, living in the moment, being enthusiastic, doing things you like, doing things you love. Um, yeah, caring about people, like genuinely caring about them. And then that's how the universe would respond well to you, is when when you treat it kindly, when you treat it gracefully.
mm.
But I don't know how you
Yeah,
see it.
yeah, I agree on that. That's not what I didn't mean karma when I said burn through your karma in that way. But now when we're speaking about karma in the traditional way, I think I agree with what you're saying. Absolutely. And I think and it kind of ties back also to just having a it might not be that you do something good for someone else and then life magically reciprocates that thing back to you.
Yeah.
But I think rather you could see karma as if you do good and you choose to see good, then you will see more good. You know, like whatever you focus on, you're gonna see more of.
Yeah.
Mm.
That is something that I am still implementing. So fortunately, I've been, like yourself, grown up around people who weren't focusing on what was good. But I haven't gotten to where you are, in the sense that I feel like you have an ability to see good more than I have. I'm still sort of focused on what's not so good.
Mm.
Obviously, I'm not pessimistic. I used to be a lot more pessimistic when I was into drugs and I was numbing my emotions with drugs, but I've still not fully gathered my senses when it comes to that. So
Mm.
how do you then implement the ability to, how do you practice the ability to see good? Like, okay, yeah, today I'm going to wake up, my intention is I'm going to try to look for good.
Mm.
And then you just do that every day, or do you like write in your journal? Like, what, how do you practice that?
I think. Hmm. Okay, so I think this happens at two levels. First, you have to, because like I said in the beginning, we have those 60,000 thoughts. Uh, so I think in the beginning, it's just that you have to make the conscious effort just to decide to see the good things until it becomes your subconscious programming.
So it's really that simple.
Yeah, on one level, yes, it is simple. And then on the other hand, it's when you realize that everything just is what it is and you're the only person in your life with that are having your experiences that are projecting the meaning onto things. And when you can zoom out and when you can observe how you're thinking, then you can also realize that you can control that you how you think, and you also realize that you don't have to believe or believe in or embrace every emotion that you have. And it's the same thing with feeling good. Feeling good is also just an illusion. You know, like it just is what it is. And whether something feels good or it feels bad, it's just an illusion, because whatever is just is.
Yeah. Have you read Eckhart Tolle?
Yeah, that's actually one of the first books I got into, The Power of Now.
Mm.
But I think I read that book probably 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's an old one.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I love that. What you just shared. That was awesome.
Mm.
And it's not like I don't know these things, but I've had this tendency to just fall back into bad habits, even when I've both read the books and I have, to a degree practiced and implemented. So that's obviously one of the reasons that I think we would have a cool conversation. I want to learn from you, and I think if I want to, there's probably thousands out there that are interested in learning as well. Like, there's no short, how do you say, it's not like we need more men who struggle with their emotions.
Yeah.
It's not like
And
we need more young girls to struggle with the same. Like, I think there's a
yeah.
lot of people who are, like, if I never feel like I'm alone. Maybe I used to, but like I've grown to understand that a lot of people struggle with the same stuff,
Absolutely. And I think also one of the most important things to always remember is that if you don't make something a problem, it's not going to be a problem. But we love to stay busy in imagining that we have all these problems that we want to figure out or solve for ourselves. But if you just let go, eventually the the problem or the emotion that you feel is just going to resolve itself. But then we have all these self-help books, which I was heavily into, and I recommended books to everyone. But then I realized it's just about raw dogging life. Like, you don't have to figure out every single problem. You don't have to solve everything. You just need to focus on becoming the best version of yourself. Just pick a goal and then start working on improving something about yourself, and everything else is going to fall into place.
I think that's a great way to end it.
Yeah. Maybe. Perfect.
I really appreciate you, Tim. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Felipe.